Anta has been on a rampage in recent years. With its aggressive push to sign basketball shoe endorsers, it's easy to forget that the brand was founded only in 1991, about 3 decades earlier, but way before Klay Thompson and even earlier than Rajon Rondo and Kevin Garnett. It was an Argentinian who was drafted in 2002 who actually brought Anta on the NBA courts. That man was Luis Scola. So let's talk. Welcome back, this is Fresh Pair. Smash the thumbs up button, share this video, follow me on Instagram. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel for updates. That said, let's dive in. Some of you might wonder who Luis Scola is. As of today, Scola is a retired Argentinian professional basketball player. But back in 2002, he was drafted by the San Antonio Spurs as the 56th overall pick. Prior to that, he was already becoming a prominent name in the Spanish league as part of the Baskonia Vitoria-Gasteiz basketball team. Yet it was only until 2005 when the Spurs attempted to bring him to America as terms to buy him out of his Spanish team dragged on. Then in 2007, the Spurs traded the draft's rights to Scola to the team's Eastern Conference rival at the time, the Houston Rockets. He would have teamed up with Steve Francis, who also had something to do with Anta. To set the record straight, it was in fact Steve Francis who was the first NBA player to sign a contract with Anta. This was back in August 2007. At the time, Francis was set to return to the Houston Rockets, but a season-ending surgery from a previous injury prevented him from making the roster for the entire season. He only played for 10 games, and whatever was in the works between Francis and Anta would eventually fail to materialize. But Anta was not done, as the Steve Francis deal was just the beginning. On September 2007, about 16 years ago, Luis Scola signed a shoe deal with Anta almost a month after Steve Francis signed with the Chinese brand. At that time, Scola was also set to suit up for the Houston Rockets. The details of his Anta contract might have already been lost in the pages, but it was a pivotal moment that would help steer Anta into the NBA shores. More often than not, Luis Scola's Anta shoes either barely had an official English name, or if it had one, it never reached the English-speaking audience. Such was a time when Anta did not have the media mileage and coverage that it has today. Still, the brand was all set to launch its name to the unsuspecting NBA audience. Scola had to pave the way, and he did. Let's list just some of the Anta shoes he wore throughout his NBA career. In November 2007, shortly after his signing with Anta, Luis Scola wore a white Anta shoe with some red hits at the heel logo and heel base, as well as the forefoot. The shoe featured Scola's logo at the back. By early December 2008, Scola rocked a white Anta shoe with red accents at the collar and the side panels. In mid-October 2010, we saw images of an Anta Scola shoe fully draped in red. The notable thing about the shoe is that it featured Scola's career accomplishments at the heel. The collar also showed +8610, which was Beijing's country and area codes. The outsole features a honeycomb pattern along with circles that contained a bubble-like design. Then in late November 2010, another Luis Scola Anta PE surfaced online. The shoe had the colors of the Argentinian flag, a predominantly white leather upper with yellow laces and a blue perimeter in the rubber outsole. During the 2014 NBA regular season, Scola wore an Anta shoe that had a heel panel with pressed triangular patterns. The upper material uses synthetic leather and barely had any perforations. The tongue had thin mesh with a glossy film material at the top. The shoe only had 2 internal lace loops and 2 external lace holes. In the playoffs of the same season, Scola wore a new mid-cut Anta shoe. Overall, it's hard to list the entire line of Anta sneakers that Luis Scola wore throughout his professional career. Even harder is the task to name all of them. But whatever the case may be, Scola helped Anta's entry into the NBA as an emerging basketball footwear brand. Scola's signing with Anta helped usher in a wave of new NBA endorsements to say the least. In August 2010, Kevin Garnett signed with the brand, which led to 7 signature shoes after, the last of which, the KG7, was unveiled in September 2016. 3 years later after Garnett's deal, or on October 2013, Rajon Rondo inked an 8-year deal with Anta. This led to 6 signature shoes, the last of which was the RR6 launched in 2020. Before the close of 2013, Chandler Parsons likewise joined the brand. A year later after Rondo and Parsons' deal, or on 2014, Klay Thompson joined the club and signed with the brand. To this day, Klay has 9 signature shoes with Anta. Then in September 2018, or 4 years after Klay, Gordon Hayward followed suit, earning him $9 million in 4 years with 4 signature shoes under his belt to this day, the latest of which is the GH4. And of course, there's Kyrie Irving, Anta's latest endorser, whom they signed for a $126 million to a 5-year contract this July 2023. Anta has been on steady strides in its ascent to the global basketball footwear market, and much is in store for the brand as it looks forward to more partnerships with up-and-coming NBA players. But for now, it's enough to point out that Luis Scola was the man who helped bring Anta to the NBA hardwood. It might have been another guy, of course, but history is history, and Scola should at least take some credit for where Anta is now today. Let me know what you think. Post your thoughts in the comments section, smash the thumbs up button, share this video to your friends. Follow me on Instagram. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel for updates. This is Fresh Pair, thanks for watching. Peace and love to the fellow underdogs.